Okay, let's take a look. Recently, the VS Factory and the Clean Factory have become very popular. The medicinal smell is quite strong. I still remember it was about September last year. Clean after AIEW. Then Grey Yacht rose to a new level. I was very curious about what VS was doing at that time. After such a long time, it seemed like VS suddenly figured it out. Yes, he is here, and he is here with Wangzhou's 3235 Downdown movement. I am a one-star. In this issue, we will talk about the comparison between the real and fake Grey Yachts. Let me briefly introduce this. This is the original version. The original version I just took back. This is our recently released VS. When I first got this from the Clean Factory, I was a little surprised by the difference in the color of the disc. Under the same environment, almost no color difference can be achieved. It's so cool. Not to mention the 30x macro. Let's take a look at the difference in details. Let's take a look at the dial. This watch is a second-hand original that was recovered by my 90,000 strong cousin. The warranty information for a second-hand watch is from September 2021. It has been used for almost 2 years now because it is not bad and it is a complete set. The recovered price is almost the same as the current public price. This is the comparison of the original disc effect we saw under 10 times the macro. If you look at the toy charts of VS under 10x macro, can you see the big difference? Let's talk about the public price. Like the original version, it currently has more than 90,000. Because it is 10 times macro, this is versus. Let's take a look at the Clean Factory. Just look at 30x, because you can't seem to see anything at 10x. This is open 30 times the original version. Let's look at it one by one. Lettering. Look at these three-dimensional brushes with sound effects. We have filmed so many episodes comparing real and fake, so I don't need to say more. You can basically see it. This is the original engraving. Are these shading patterns radial? So neat. This is the original version. The logo also has a three-dimensional effect. Come and watch. I don't need to say more. I think from my perspective, I can only appreciate it. This is the original version we enjoyed. Come and see VS Factory. Let's first look at the radial patterns of the shading of the lettering. What's your answer to these letterings? Well, that's just the thing. Can you find faults? So far, I haven't found any faults. This is the VS Factory, come and see the Clean Factory. I don't need to say more about Clean. That's it. They made the disc surface very comfortable, whether it's the color difference or the shading effect and logo. The difference is here. Let's look at pointers. Under 30x macro. This is the original pointer effect. It can give us different feelings of comfort at different angles. It's nice to have Money 44. I would inevitably feel a little distressed if I were asked to choose it. It's not that I can't afford it, but in this age group. Factors to consider. For example, raising a family account. I have a Grey Yacht that I have been playing with for a long time. When the Clean Factory came out, I got one for myself. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but compared to the original version, it's just like a small house with a big house, after all, the original version. So beautiful. When I have the ability, I will definitely make the original version and come back. This is the original effect. You can get it for more than 90,000. This is the new kid on the block. This is the pointer of VS Factory. Just look around. I won't rate VS Factory anymore. I give VS Factory a thumbs up. I am willing to give him 100 likes. Because under 30 times macro, he can still give it to me. Same comfort. Then I'm contented. Very good, give you another 100 likes. VS Factory. A bit technical. There is a little difference in the center axis. This is a controversial point, right? It may be the effect produced by different batches, but I don't recommend that you pay too much attention to the details on this thing. After all, the price gap between them is too big. Dozens of times larger. The comfort is already there. This is the VS Factory. Let's take a look at the Clean Factory. How to describe? We will simply put the scale and calendar together for comparison. This is the scale effect of the original version at 30x macro. Very familiar, everyone. We can all see that it has been polished on the corners, and we can also see that there are some flaws on it, but is it important? I can only accept it. After all, even if I can't accept it, it won't affect others. Well, it's a fact. This is the original scale effect at 30x macro. Let's take another look at the calendar window. I adjusted all the calendar windows to the 15th. Let's do a simple comparison. This is the original calendar effect. Take a look at VS Factory. Scale of VS. What's your answer? In my eyes, I feel almost the same. It's almost like we don't need to be biased. Right, we can all see it under 30x macro. The difference between calendars. This is VS, which is pretty good. I have been playing Clean Factory for so long. I quite like this quality. As long as everyone can see it. Many people are reporting that the quality control of KE Ling has declined. I have no choice but to accept this. I can only talk about it in the video. This is the calendar effect of the Clean Factory. The effect is almost the same. We can all see the difference in comparison. Let's talk about the circle again. The grey yacht model is among the clone watches. There's a reason why it's so popular. We can look at it from the perspective of material. The original ring material is platinum. Cloned the table because of cost control factors. So it's not a platinum ring. You can also use platinum ring directly. But his price is very high. Therefore, the cost of a good clone table is naturally high. Is this what you want? The material is steel, so he can only make these shapes. After sandblasting and polishing, he can still see it compared with the original version. This is the original version, and this one is from the VS factory. Comparative differences between them. You can see it. As for the cleaning factory, the effects between them are almost the same, right? Because he is in the platinum circle, they have differences in materials and colors. There are probably some differences, but look at it this way. The difference between them is not that big, right? This is put together for comparison, just like many of our watch friends directly look for a picture on the watch store to look at it like this. You can't see it that way. Look at the difference between them this way. It doesn't seem that big. I have unknowingly taught some fake masters a lesson. Some cousins will say, "The gap between them is so big, can't you tell if it's big or not?" Under the public price difference of more than 30 times. The difference is here. Let's look at the weight again. I used to think there was a big difference between them. At least a few dozen grams, but I thought about it. The other materials are the same except for the ring mouth material. Compare this to the original version. 144.4 original version. This is VS Factory 144.2. Clean Factory 144.0. Can I tell everyone that they have the same weight? But I don't, because the original version has 2 straps removed. VS it has not been dismantled. The Clean Factory has not been dismantled either. There is some weight difference between them, but the difference is not huge, just a few grams. Except for the different materials of the ring, the materials of other parts are the same. For example, the case and strap are all made of 904 steel, so the difference will not be big. But I can't say there is no difference. This is the difference between them. The back cover is open. Let me show you the movement we see after opening the back cover. Is there much difference between them? Let's just look at what we see with our eyes. Where is the difference? This is the original 3235. Looks like this, Dandung 3235 from VS Factory. From Clean Factory, Shanghai 3235 looks like this. In the eyes of different cousins, they may look similar at first glance. That's all. If you are someone who understands my cousins, you may have noticed something. Let's talk about something we can see with the naked eye. Let's talk about the hairspring balance wheel. First open the magnifying glass and look at it. One of the designs of the hairspring balance wheel is that it has no card. Original. Dandun 3235. Shanghai 3235 of Clean Factory. Do you think you can't find its speed pile? It's hidden inside. Shanghai is inside and Dandong is outside. The difference between them is this. You mean the original version? Are there just a few differences between it and a cloning factory? Then I only said this one point. But if you look at it with the naked eye, everyone can see the difference. The original card-free model achieves travel time error by adjusting the weight of the balance wheel. And these clone factories, whether you are a VS factory or a Clean factory, are essentially stuck. Why is it? Because they have speed and slow piles, and there is an error in changing the time through the speed and slow piles. In terms of power, the original version has 70 hours of power, which is also achieved by VS's Dandung 3235. The 3235 that can be purchased from Shanghai is a machine made in Shanghai. It has not achieved this, but it should be able to achieve 70 hours of power in the future. That's it, we can all see which one is better. I was playing with watches many years ago. I've been thinking about this issue. If I take this kind of watch out, will others see it? Even now, many cousins are talking to me about this topic, but this topic is a bit macro. Because if your circle is all practitioners in watch-related industries, there must be countless watches that he can handle in a year, so can he not see it? He can definitely see that this is their job. Just like you go to drive a flooded car and you go to your friend, but your friend is a second-hand car dealer. He deals with cars every day. Can you tell him if he can see that your car is soaked in water? If he can't tell me, brother, just take this car from me. It doesn't matter if the normal market price is lower. If he really accepts it, if he really doesn't see that this car is a flooded car, he will lose so much that he won't even have his underwear left, haha. But just like watches, how many watches can an average person really come into contact with after living for decades? You ask them to tell whether these watches are real or fake. To be honest, it's a bit hard for him, so can you tell? The answer I can give is that it depends on who the other party is. It depends on who you are. You saver.